Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I thought I would sit down and film like my everyday kind of go-to eyeshadow look, in case anyone was interested in, something you can wear just about anywhere, to work or, a wedding or, just anything, anything you have going on. I think, it's simple and it can go with just about any outfit. And so I've had a couple requests to kind of sit down and film, like, how I do transition colors and how to stop fallout and, questions kind of similar to that. So I thought, since I was already, going to do my makeup today, I could go ahead and film it. So if this is something you guys like, if you like, tutorials about how to do something, how to apply something, I'm by no means a makeup artist. I've kind of just learned by watching videos and practicing, and learning kind of what's good and what suits me. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave it down in the comments below, and make sure you like this video if this is something you guys like. And so the palette I pretty much use whenever I just want to get in there, get my eyeshadow done, and go out the door. And I know I can rely on it. And I mean, I take this thing everywhere. And if you've seen my eyeshadow palette declutter, you would know. But the Soph Revolution palette is like my go-to. I mean, so much that I broke it, and I pretty much just use the same colors, every time, obviously. But I tend to stick with like this one, these two up here at the top, this bottom one here, and then these two here. And you guys, if you don't have this palette, and you have something, similar to this, use this. There's no reason for you guys to go out there and buy it unless you like these kind of colors or whatever. It's very inexpensive. I consider it kind of like drugstore prices, and it can be found online and at ULTA, in case you guys were wondering. My eyelids are already primed with my MAC paint pot. I did not set them. I've been finding that not setting my eyeshadow base kind of gives me more pigment. That's kind of personal preference. If I were you, I would just kind of play around and see what you like better. The shadow will adhere to the eyeshadow base, which can make things a little bit more difficult to blend. But I find that with this formula, I don't necessarily have a hard time, blending it out when I don't set my base. But every eyeshadow palette's different, so I would just kind of recommend playing around with it and seeing what works best for you. So if I'm going to set my eyeshadow base, I would tend to go with something, either pure white, or you can go with something kind of similar to your skin tone. So like, I would use this to like set my base, and like I said, I mean, that's just personal preference, but just as an example of something you can set it with. Even using like your setting powder that you use on your face, you can also set your eyeshadow base with that as well. So I think I'm just going to start my transition color with this one right here. And I like to use like a lighter brown to start in my crease, as my transition shade. And I just like to use that to kind of lay down a shadow to help blend the rest of the shadows, I guess, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to start off with a fluffy blending brush, just because I find, that's what I think is better, or, best to use when applying your transition shade. I know it looks dirty, but it's stained. And I recommend that if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of brushes, kind of like me, I find having a color switch comes in handy. So all you have to do is kind of go like this, and it, removes the shadow. I don't recommend replacing this with like your cleaning products, because this won't obviously keep them clean, but it will dust off the shadow. I bought this at Sephora. I think you can purchase it cheaper at Ulta, but I couldn't find any when I went in store when I was looking for one. But I mean, you don't have to, pay a pretty penny to get something like this. But I do recommend this to kind of clean off in between uses. I didn't even tell you what it was. It's a Morphe M518, but any fluffy brush will work. So like I said, I'm just going to take this color right here and just dip my brush in it. Now I like to tap off the excess, just so that way if you've already done like your face makeup, it won't necessarily have a chance to fall out on your face. If you're worried about that, then you can take loose setting powder and kind of just pack some on underneath your eye, so that way it catches any fallout, and then you can just take like a fluffy brush and kind of sweep away the fallout. So I'm just going to take that color and I'm just going to kind of work it into my crease. I do kind of like these swirl circular motions, and I like to stamp, just because like I said, with having that sticky base adheres to that shadow, so you don't want to just put all your eyeshadow in one spot and have to sit there and blend it out for a while. But since I have hooded eyes, I find that I have to take my transition shade a little bit higher up than someone who wouldn't necessarily have like a hooded eye, just so that you're able to see the eyeshadow. I've just found that that's what works best with me. And like I said, everybody has, different, eyes and, different ways of doing things, and just finding kind of what suits you is what's going to make you have a better result in the end, I guess would be what I'm trying to say here. But I just take it from outer corner to inner corner. And this shade, I don't necessarily care about, if it gets anywhere on my eyelids, because I'm going to do like a little half cut crease when it comes time to do the eyeshadow. But as long as I can kind of get this above my crease, we'll be good to go. And just really taking your time and focusing it where you want the shadow, and not having any like harsh edges. So I just take it and go over. And if your I find that if your transition shade is, a little bit light or closer to your skin tone, you can kind of build it up into a color or a darker color than to really kind of make that more noticeable. But as far as a transition shade to me is concerned, it's just necessarily, going to help me blend out the rest of my eyeshadow. So you can kind of see a comparison to my other eye of where I've laid that transition down. So next I'm just going to take that color right next to there with like the same little fluffy brush, and I'm going to dip into it as well and tap off the excess. And I'm going to focus that in the same spots that I did that first shade, but a little bit lower. And I'm going to focus it more here on the outer part of my eye and really just kind of pack that on there. And really like tilting your head back and going at it like this can really help kind of give you an idea of where you've placed that shadow and how well you've blended it out. Like that. And then I just kind of dust that same eyeshadow brush off, or you can take another, clean brush, and then I just kind of go over where those two shadows meet, just to blend out those lines. So that's what this eye looks like compared to this eye so far. And then for the color, the darker color that I really like to add on the outer corner here, just to really kind of give your eye some kind of definition, I take kind of like a fluffier, kind of like pointed brush. If you look in comparison, you see it's more kind of like tapered. And this is a Morphe M433. So I just like to take this brush and go into this darker matte here. Tap off the excess. And I really like to start by patting on this color. And then I kind of just take what's left over and go. I don't take it all the way in because I feel like that kind of like closes off my eye. But I just like to take it and pack it and run what's left into that crease. Like right into my socket. And I just take it and build it up till it's as dark as I would want. So then I like to go back in with that first fluffy brush, and I kind of like to dip back, kind of go back and forth like this with those first two transitions, and then I tap that off, and then I just go back over and really smooth out that darker color. So you can either leave it, you know, like this, or if you want to build it up and make it a little bit darker, again, it's up to you. I find that if I'm just going to like go to work or something, I don't necessarily like to have it, you know, super dark and bold and kind of like smoky, I guess. But if you really want to deepen that up and increase or intensify the color, again, all you have to do is just keep really packing that darker color on, just like that. And since I'm going to be cutting the inner part of my crease, I'm not particularly, you know, as careful where I pack it on the bottom as I am the top, just because I just don't want that darker color to go too far high above the crease. So then once you've intensified that to, you know, your personal preference, you know, you can kind of see the different colors that we have used on the lid, and just the depth that I think it kind of gives your eye. So I think before I cut the crease, I'm just going to work on the bottom lash just to kind of get that out of the way. So for my waterline, I like to take like a nude eyeliner. I use this one from Tarte. It's the Fake Awake nude eyeliner, and I feel like this just really helps like open up your eye and really, you know, give it an awake look. And I just like to take this and line my waterline, and then I like to take either my Urban Decay 24-hour gel liner or my Sephora black one and tight line the top of my eyelid. I don't always do like a wing or a top eyeliner. Kind of just depends on, you know, what mood I'm in. And if that's something you guys like to do, I mean, you can do it. It's all up for interpretation. But yeah, I just thought I would tell you, you know, what I like to use as far as eyeliner. Okay, so if you can kind of look at the difference between the one that doesn't have the like nude color and the one that does, this one just looks more open and awake and, you know, fresh. And so that's kind of like why I like to do a nude eyeliner whenever I kind of just want that like pow, I'm awake kind of look without having to drink like 50 cups of coffee. So for the lower lash line, I kind of do, you know, what I did on the top at the bottom, only kind of like in reverse, I guess, which I'll show you so it makes sense. But I like to take a like flat definer brush like this. I got this in a boxy charm. It's from Alamar Cosmetics. And I just like to use this to dip into the dark brown color that we used in the outer part of our eye at the top. And then I just like to really pack this right up against that lash line. And again, I just kind of bring it to where I brought that same color up at the top. And I like to pack it at first and really connect those two in the corner here. And then I will just smudge it out. And I don't like to take it too far down. That's just personal preference. But I just go back and forth, kind of blending it out. Just like that. And then I go in with like a small little round, like kind of domed brush like this. And this is just an elf crease brush. And I like to take that second transition color and run it from inner to outer and really focus it in the back to or in the outer part to blend out that darker color. And then I'll just take a like even smaller kind of domed brush like this one, which is an Equals 2 liner smudge brush, and I go into that very first like transition we laid down, and I focus it more on the very edge of that second color just to really blend out so there's no harsh line. And I like to kind of drag it down a little bit, just I feel like it kind of covers up those bags, I guess. And I like to kind of take it up and really like blend out that harsh line. To me, I kind of like it to be more like a cat eye effect because I really feel like it elongates my eye. If that's something you don't like, you can, just round it out. You can take setting powder and clean up under there if you've got it, too far or too harsh or, whatever. But that's why I like taking that that initial crease color we put down at the bottom and really blend out all those harsh edges. Just like so. For my inner corner and my brow bone, I like to take this little Sephora shader brush. It's just a little like paddle brush, and dip it into like this light gold color right here. And I just like to go right into that tear duct. Well, not like in it, but you know what I mean. You see what I'm doing. Just like that, and kind of blend that out. Of course, this can wait until after you do your little cut crease, but. And I just like to focus it right under where the arch of my brow is, because I really feel like it helps kind of like give it more of a raised effect. Just like that. So to do my cut crease, I like to either use like the concealer I used or the paint pot that I used to set my lids, and this like flat paddle brush. Again, that I got from Boxy Charm. It's the Alamar Cosmetics. And I like to first kind of start here right below my crease, just because where I have hooded eyes, the glitter or the shimmer eyeshadow will transfer. So I just take that and kind of look around, and it gives me kind of an idea of how far I should cut into the crease, just so that way I don't have to worry about any type of transfer. And if you just kind of like look straight on, you can kind of get an idea of where you should cut it to. By no means am I any good at this, but I practice just about every time I do an eyeshadow look. And this is just going to really help make that shimmer shade adhere to your eyelid. And it'll kind of help with that fallout issue. So I just like to either take the same brush that I did the cut crease with, or like a flat shader brush, like the Morphe M167. It looks like this. And I like to take the darker gold here with that brush and dip into it like so. And then I'll take whatever setting spray I used or have just lying around, and I will spritz my brush like so, kind of just wave off. And this will kind of help again with that fallout situation. And instead of swiping, I like to pat first to really adhere that eyeshadow to that paint pot, just like so. And then I like to take that same little dome pointed brush and dip into that darker brown and just really blend out that harsh edge right there. Instead of it going like that, just really take and blend. Which you can do this when you set your pot paint, or when you use your paint pot or concealer or whatever to cut the crease. You can go ahead and kind of blend that out. Again, it's just personal preference of how you like to kind of blend out that line. And I will say, taking your finger like so, and if you want to spritz it with the setting spray, you can, but you can also take your finger and just pack instead of swipe. Again, that will cause a majority of your fallout. And just doing that. So as you can see, I have a few bit of that fallout from that gold shimmer. And so I just like to take a like duo fiber brush, which is, this is from MUA. You can find this brand at CVS, and I'll just whisk it away like so, and it's gone. And then I like, for the inner part of my eye, I like to use the lighter gold right next to it. And again, you can either use your finger or the brush, whichever is, easier. And then I just blend out that harsh line that connects the lighter color to the darker color, just like so. So I'm going to apply mascara and finish the other eye off camera. Alright, so I just thought I would give you like a close-up of the eyes done. I just used my It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara for my eyelash, or my mascara. But yeah, so that's what the eyes look like done. Alright, you guys, I hope that was, just a little bit helpful for you guys. I kind of like to use what I did as kind of like a guideline for whenever I do different looks with different eyeshadow palettes, as far as a light transition shade, something a little bit darker than my first transition shade, and try saying that 5 times fast, and like a darker color for the outer corner of my eyelid. And that's pretty much what I do just about any time I do an eyeshadow look. Hopefully I explained it, you know, well enough to you. But like I said, practice just makes perfect. I try my best every day, you know, that I do my makeup. So, and I think I get a little bit better at it each time. So I do recommend you practice. And I think finding videos with people who kind of have similar, you know, eye shape as you really helps out knowing what's going to work best for you guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you like this kind of video, and hit that notification bell while you're down there so you're notified every time I upload a video. So until next time, guys, see ya.